What's up, Blue Collar Millionaires? Back again. Today we have Levi Wanner. He is a home builder, real estate expert out in Montana. Levi, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Man, yeah.
Where are you in Montana?
Right now I'm in Billings, Montana. So we're right in the center of Montana.
And what you're building? How many houses you building a year? Tell us about what you're doing and how you got to that level.
Sure. So right now we're on pace. We'll close between 40 and 50 houses this year. My story, I'm from a small town in eastern Montana where we could almost throw a rock and hit North Dakota. And I moved to Billings right when high school started. So I'm kind of from a local guy here, and I started in real estate kind of in a weird, fun way. I moved to Las Vegas when I was like 20, 21, 22. My current wife at the time, she was a teacher, and they weren't hiring any teachers here. And I didn't have much going on. I'm a high school dropout, so I was just kind of floundering my way through life. And so I went down there and I got a job as a maintenance man at an apartment complex. And my dad still tells the story that I can't even fix my hair. I don't know how I could fix anything in an apartment complex. So I kind of worked my way up into from maintenance. I got the maintenance supervisor job. And then I moved into the front office. They figured out that I could sell something. So I moved into leasing and then managing, like an 800 unit complex. So
how big
was it?
There was an 800 unit complex.
Massive.
Yeah. Like you could almost see the strip. It was on Paradise in Las Vegas. It's kind of a crappy neighborhood now, but it was nice. It was right across the street from the Hard Rock Hotel. So that's kind of where my Vegas story ends. We decided to have some kids, and we decided Montana was the place that we wanted to raise our family. So I moved back here. I got back into property management, and I always just wanted to be in real estate sales as a realtor. So I got my real estate license, and then was a salesman for a couple of years. Did really well. I really still enjoy that. I'm still a realtor here in Montana. My sister and I work together in that angle. But I made a connection, and I started selling houses, new construction, for a builder who's still a very dear friend of mine. And I kind of learned the process of building new homes with him. And then he just wasn't producing the volume that we wanted to hit. So I decided to start building myself. So that was, I think, 11 and a half years ago, I started my company, and I started with one spec house. And now last year we closed over 40. 1 year we closed 50 houses. We just moved into Helena, Montana, which is exciting. That's our capital. It's about 2.5 hours away. So we're trying to expand. And Montana is a big state, so it's hard to, It's not like you're going from New Jersey to New York. It's a drive. So
I had to do a little get my bearings straight and see where Billings, Montana was there. It's
nice.
Massive. It's a massive state. Yeah.
Yeah. So people always ask, do you go to Whitefish and Kalispell all the time? But it's an 8-hour drive from here.
Wow.
So Montana's a big state. So, but Billings is the biggest city. We've got a lot of the economics here. We've got, the biggest hospital in the area. All the refineries are here. So stuff like that. So it's a good place to be, and it's a great place to have a family.
What is the population there?
We are about 110,000 is all we have in Billings.
Okay, and you're doing that many houses? That's impressive.
Yeah, we just got the rankings. We're the biggest builder in Billings right now, and we're the third largest in Montana, but just behind two guys that do like multi-million-dollar homes in Big Sky up in the ski resorts.
Go ahead, Chris.
What's the average price range of the house you're building?
Yep. So average in Billings is between $4 and about $450. Go ahead.
What drives the economy up there?
So we have Billings Clinic is our hospital here, and they're the largest employer in Montana. And then Billings has three refineries within about 30 minutes. We've got two right in Billings, and then one in about 20 minutes away. There's a coal mine about an hour away, so we get a lot of our economics from there. And then obviously it's Montana, so there's tourism, lots of skiers and people coming to the national parks and stuff like that.
So when it comes to your new construction building, and then you said you enjoyed the realtor aspect of it, do you work for a brokerage or do you have your own brokerage? And then is your construction company its own entity that's doing all the buildings?
Right now, so the developer that we buy most of our lots from has the brokerage that we're at, but it's just me and my sister and another guy right now in our brokerage. That works out really well. I'm able to buy, a bunch of land and stuff through there. And then my construction company is completely separate. I'm the only owner of that. And so my sister and I, we sell together. So a lot of times it works out great to where we're able to build a custom home for somebody, sell the current home that they're in, and kind of make it a one-stop shop. And then we just partnered up with Mike Burns out of Salt Lake, and we opened up a mortgage brokerage here as well. So we're able to control most of the process.
Wow.
Awesome.
I like it.
I didn't know you guys did that.
Yeah.
So tell me, I want to know, because first of all, everybody, interest rates are going up. You hear a lot of different mixed reviews on what real estate's doing. Is new construction going to drop out like it did in 2008? Are builders going to, shit hit the fan for them kind of situation? So kind of what your thoughts are on that. And then I want to understand what your organizational structure looks like for your new construction to be able to produce that many homes. Because essentially you were almost popping one out a week. So you got several projects at once going on. So, are you project managing those? Do you have the project manager? How many? Kind of give us an idea of what that organizational chart.
Well, I'll start with that. The organizational structure, because once you get me started on the interest rates and the economy, we could be here for the rest of the afternoon.
Okay. All right.
So it's kind of a fun topic. I kind of started geeking out on all that kind of stuff this last year. It's been a lot of fun. So in my office, I've got an office manager, and she runs everything in the office. She does selections with our clients, and does a lot of the scheduling, from pulling the strings on the backside. I also have a project manager. He's out in the field full time. He's out running all the jobs. And what's a lot of fun is, I grew up here. So like I've known him since early high school. And like a lot of our subs, our foundation crews, our plumbers, I've known these guys for 30 years now. And we grew up wrestling together and playing, sports and stuff like that. So it's a tight knit group of guys we have. And then I also have my sister also is in the company. So she's kind of our customer service type of person to, handles a lot of the warranty, and keeps in constant contact. We have a ton of client parties, and we try to make it a big family once you buy a house from us. So she handles all of that. And then Angie is here now. She's our assistant. And then I also have a project manager in Helena. He runs the projects up there. So then we go up there probably once. Somebody's up there every 1 or 2 weeks. So we've got a pretty good staff, and then everything else is subbed out. From our excavation is all subbed. So it works out pretty well.
So project manager is going to have a fairly, that's going to be an extremely heavy lift role, because he's trying to make sure subs are there on time, not on top of each other. He's watching the deadline marks. And how many projects at once is he handling on a typical day?
So he's probably from excavation to closing, probably 15 to 20 at any given point.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you find that guy? That person's good.
I went to high school with him. He's a great guy. Then he was my initial framer. He that's what he started, a framing company right out of high school. And then our kids grew up together. We have boys that are the exact same age. And now his son took over the framing crew. So his son is now our full-time framer. He only frames for us. So when I say we have a big, close-knit family, it's really like embedded in our community.
I love how you're controlling the whole process. I think this is so important. Now you get in the mortgage, You're selling the
Right.
houses. You're doing all these things because you told me something the last time we met, we saw each other. I mean, about you have your subs investing back into your
Right.
company.
Right.
Tell us about that. This is really smart.
So when I met you, Kevin, and you, Chris, and the DM fam there, I do nothing. I bet you it's 95% all local bank loans. That every house has its own loan. We, and that's basically a full-time job in itself. Me, getting lots, getting the plans ready, getting, the funding, all of that kind of stuff. And so then I joined this mastermind, and I'm like, they start talking about private money, people investing in projects. I'm like, you can do that? I'm from small town Montana. I thought you had to go through a bank. I thought we had to do these things. So I just started talking to our subs about it, and now we've got subs investing in our spec houses and stuff like that, and they're all excited that they can make extra money. And it's great for us because the timing works, and it's just a win for everybody.
It's so smart. You got that one roofer, right? He's doing all
Yep.
your roofs, and then he's making money with you guys, and then investing it back. So you both
Absolutely.
of you are winning again.
Yeah,
I never thought about that for a builder.
I like that.
It's a win.
Smart.
And we've done business together for a decade, and we really pride ourselves on paying our subs on time and everything. And so he knows that, the business that we run, and he feels comfortable doing that. So it's really kind of fun to do that. And his wife's all excited, and she's, driving by the house all the time.
Well, so, what's even cooler about it is now you've got a aligned interest on that house being completed in a quality manner and getting sold. So it really did tie, man, if you could get every one of your subs involved on that, that would, that's pretty awesome how you went to them and approached that. That's the first time I've heard of that using the subs.
It's really smart. I think if I was a builder listening to this, I'd be instituting that today.
Absolutely. And I kind of just stumbled into it. It's like one of those like light bulb moments where it's like, oh, why wouldn't this work? And
so are they debt partners, or are they some equity partners?
They're just interest. So they just deposit the money, and they get an interest fee at the end of the project.
Yeah.
I learned that early is I don't like to have partners that that want to control as well, right? Like there's too many people pulling strings isn't healthy.
I agree.
So I'll take on a ton of partners like that, but I have to be the one at the end making the final decisions.
Cool. Let's move over to your to the money side of things.
Right. My new pet project. I'm the only high school dropout that is an economics dork that reads about it every day.
I think that's an extremely important thing for everybody to watch that's watching this to pick up from that. I mean, it really does not matter what your schooling looks like in the past or how well you did in school. If you can be an extremely successful entrepreneur. Matter of fact, it seems like the majority, at least Kevin, the blue collar type of entrepreneurs, they did not do that great in school, but they did fantastic in business because they weren't quitters.
Yeah, and I really want to instill that to people when they're young, because when growing up, and now there's tons of content out there for you to listen to, the Mark Evans, the Andy Frisellas, and but like growing up, you thought that if you didn't have that education, you couldn't succeed extremely well, but we know that's not true now.
No.
But I bet you 15 years of my life kind of downplaying because I didn't have that education. So it is important, and it took me a long time. Like I didn't really want people to know at first and all that kind of stuff. But now I think it's really important that people do know that you can be super successful without playing the matrix system there. So
you have to be educated, and you are, but you don't have to be on a formal basis or
no, absolutely.
High school, to me, when I was in high school, when I was going into my senior year, I 100% knew I wasn't going to college. I already was doing this landscaping business. My parents were so against that. But I used to tell my mom, I think I should drop out because what am I really going to learn as a senior? And I still, at 50, believe that year was a waste of my life.
For sure.
Same.
I should have just went. I would have been a year ahead. Like I didn't think that at 17 and at 19, like, oh man, happy I got my diploma. Who cares?
Right.
I could have went and got a GED in 6 weeks at night if I wanted to. You can't do anything with a GED, a diploma that you can't do. Like, what difference does it make?
Right. Like, you can't get into Harvard and Yale, but we weren't going there anyway. Like,
Right.
that wasn't in the cards anyway. So,
you're better off mentoring under somebody for a year. I would have been way further ahead.
Absolutely.
Instead, I'm sitting there, like, like learning history about this, the Revolutionary War for the 14th time. You know,
right.
like enough already.
And I just had this conversation. My son actually turned 22 today. We were having this conversation on the golf course this weekend. I think the next round of really, really wealth building individuals like his age will be the trades, will be the electricians, will be the HVAC companies and plumbers, because there's no labor. There's nobody out there doing it. So I think that's going to be the next wave. In my opinion,
no, I agree with it. I was talking to an HVAC guy that's, I don't know, he's probably close to 70. He was still out doing his thing, one man kind of show, and he was about to get in the attic. And he said, yeah, you really just can't find anybody. He said, it's almost like it's a dying breed of people. And I said, that's why the prices are going up so much on those trades and why you can make so much. And I said, I believe that there's going to be a generation that raises and says, hey, this is where I can go make money, and I don't have to get all of the college debt. Right. I can just go apprentice, start making money right off the bat, and almost making money like a doctor at this point. I mean, when you look at the hourly rates compared to other medical field rates, they're insanely very comparable for your tradespeople.
Well, and you guys know this just as well. Then you're your own boss. Then you're not, you're not at the mercy of somebody else telling you when you have to be there. And obviously, you work harder when you own your own shop, but it's for you. Like, we talk about this all the time, right? Like, I'm unemployable right now. Like, nobody wants to employ me. Mm-hmm. Like, I love my own schedule and working for yourself. So back to the economy. I just put a post out on this morning. Is I think right now, like, if you're a home buyer, right now is the time that you go buy the house that you want, because you're not going to get inventory levels are still relatively way low. So you go find the house your dream house that you want, because you're going to get the price that you want. And then in a year or year and a half, when the interest rates are going down, then you refi, then you get the best of both worlds. Then you get the house your dream house, and then you get the rate that you want. They've already come out and said the Fed's going to, basically going to raise the rate one more time tomorrow, right? And but the mortgage companies they're already factoring that in. So the consumer rates that you see, that price is already increased. So we shouldn't see any more increases this year. And then by quarter four, we're going to see them coming down. So we could see 4% by the first quarter of next year. So you buy your dream house and you're at 6.5%, 7% interest, and then now you're at 4 next year.
That would be crazy if we see it low again.
I agree. I really like my house now, but I'm looking to move. One of the reasons is kind of the high-end houses are in the Atlanta suburbs, like $3 million. Basically, the $4 million houses are coming down like almost to $3 million, because the people who buy them, we know, like, people like to leverage. They can't afford them anymore.
Right.
So, but it doesn't really affect me. I'm seeing like people taking 150 grand off houses, 200. Yeah. And I was thinking the same thing, that there's massive opportunity right now.
Huge.
But I agree with you the same way. Just because you get a 30-year mortgage, even if you get it high, doesn't mean it's going to be like that for 30 years.
Who's paid off a 30-year mortgage?
Nobody pays it off. I know.
Right. Nobody makes it that long.
Nobody does.
We just moved into our house 6-8 months ago. I build a house every 2 years. And we're on an interest only in ARM, just because I know the rates are coming down, and there's no reason to get locked in. The other good thing, like on my end, we're still super ultra aggressive, digging holes, punching, going, balls out. But a lot of builders and developers have scaled way back because the cost of money is so high. So all that does is tighten up that inventory again. So now the you got people that are in at 3% interest, and they're not going to sell, and builders aren't building. Inventory is going to go way low. So when that interest rate drops again, then the prices of housing is skyrocketing, just going up and up and up again.
And if you want to buy a house that needs some work or something like that, that you can get a lot of contractors right now to come out. I was trying to get my basement done like 3 years ago. I couldn't get people to even send me quotes, or I was getting ridiculous quotes. And then all of a sudden, now everybody has time.
Right. Now you're holding the velvet rope.
Yep.
Yep. And well, material costs have gone down, right? The commodities are a lot lower right now. So that's another reason why builders' houses are coming down a little bit, because, you know, like lumber prices are way down from what they were.
Levi, is that when we did a call like about 6 months ago or something, you were thinking about buying a business.
Yep.
You'd like a business that's in the trades that you can kind of plug in and build your houses, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That trade.
Yep. That's our vertical move. That's kind of the same direction that had us do the mortgage company is, you know, if we can find, you know, plumbing, HVAC, something that we can buy and integrate, and just control ourselves and keep everything rolling. That's the play.
You could buy a plumbing company, add all your houses in there so you could scale it up. And then that company, when it makes money, could invest back into your building company, just like,
right. Yeah.
I mean,
the synergy. Yeah.
I know. I love the synergy.
Yeah. And it's so much fun to watch everybody get involved, and the excitement is fun. Like, you know, and I'm a guy that, you know, thrives on the energy, building energy, and everyone's, you know, winning together. You know, I don't have to be the only one winning.
Here, switching gears, what are you and Mike Burns looking to do? And you guys are going to come together and start doing kind of a Facebook group like this, a mastermind, stuff like that. You guys kind of have everything real estate covered. Tell us
everything residential real estate. So it's pretty exciting. We're about to launch it. We're going to do a coaching group, just like you guys are doing Facebook, like this, to where anybody who's in real estate or wants to be in real estate can join, right? So your realtors, your builders, your mortgage brokers, everybody. So between Mike and I, we've got new construction dialed in. We've got residential sales, flips, investing, everything that's residential real estate. Between the two of us, we've done it: property management, rentals, investing. So we're just going to team up and kind of try to, you know, help people with the knowledge that we have. See if we can help some more people grow and better themselves.
And you guys have also clearly found deals, found land, developed land.
Yeah.
Like, if I think of two people together, like, I mean, you guys have done everything residential real estate.
Right. And it's going to
bring massive value.
Yeah. And him and I are on the same page. You know, we're cut from the same cloth. You know, it's kind of a legacy play for us. It almost feels like to help people, you know, because you go to dinner or something, everybody wants to talk real estate. Everybody wants to talk, you know, what are the rates doing? What's the market doing? You know, that kind of stuff. So even the casual investor, that, you know, dip your toe into the water person can learn a lot from what we're going to teach there. So we're building the curriculum right now. It's going to be super exciting.
I think people always want to get into real estate. It's sexy, it's interesting, but the great thing with it is you can get in on any level.
Right.
You could be somebody who says, "Hey, can I give you $100,000?" And I'm a dentist. I don't really want to do anything, but I want to be in on this. I see it growing.
Yeah.
Or you can be as deep as you and Mike are.
Right.
I mean, that's the great thing. Where so many other things, it doesn't really work like that.
No, it doesn't. And the other thing too is it can be passive, right? You could be, I want to buy one rental. I'm going to put 10% down, and you are that dentist or you are that doctor. We can get you into those deals and help you, guide you the whole way.
I love real estate, but I really like to be passive. my passion's building businesses. That's what I get up. I'm excited to do it. I don't love all the stuff, everything real estate. I love how it works and everything. I don't want to deal with tenants, property management. I just don't have the bandwidth to do it.
Right.
But that's why I give money, and a lot, it's mostly I'm passive.
Right.
Just send me a check every month or every quarter. And yeah, I like the email update. I'll take a look at it, make sure everything's good. And then I just do it. That really was my thing of getting into these groups. I wanted to know the people, trust them, know them, like and trust. I've invested with Mike. I would absolutely do it with you. I've done it with other guys in our group. That's why I really got in that group. And then of course you make good friends with everybody.
Absolutely. And for me, and I've got a financial advisor that we do stocks and mutual funds and that kind of stuff, but it's a very, very small amount compared to what I do in real estate. And the reason I like real estate so much is it's tangible, right? Like I can see it, I can touch it. If the roof needs repaired, I can call my roofer. If there's broken window, I can call the glass guy. And I've had, from the first rental I bought to the ones I have currently, I've never had a loss on one because the appreciation and everything just keeps going up and up. The stock market is so volatile, and and it's so dumb because the stock market, those companies have to show wins every quarter. They can't, Kevin, as from building a business, you're not going to win every quarter.
No.
But they have to pay those dividends, and they have to do those things where you can't make good choices to run a business. And the stocks, you're kind of at the manipulation of those people in the market. So in real estate, we can control it. We can make sure it's painted. We can make sure the upkeep's done. That appreciation is going to go up every year. The tax benefits. That's just a little love affair that I have with real estate.
I think that's why me and Kevin like to play in the small business portion of it, though, not where you've got a public company. We want the private companies. Right. They're still tangible. There's a lot more moving parts in them than real estate. But that's why you've got higher cash flow opportunity as well. I mean, it's the risk and reward. I don't care what you're doing. If you're having massive returns, there's going to be more risk. So you've got to be, you got to find those points of risk mitigation that you can plug in. So good operators, get knowledge around you, get counsel around you. I play in real estate and business, and business cash flows better, and real estate. But I take some nice rips from flips.
Wow.
So I mean, I think people just need to decide which one they need to get into. But I love the marriage of both. Especially when you find someone that's extremely successful in business, like Kevin, and then Kevin says, you know what, I want to play in real estate, but I don't want to be an operator. So right. Let me find the operators that I trust. I think Kevin's been extremely smart there. I got into real estate just because I wasn't at Kevin's level with cash flow yet. So I said, I got to go in and do it as an operator. So I kind of play in both. But as you start moving up the ladder, you realize you can't be an operator in everything. No. So at some point you have to be a passive investor, and it's smart to diversify. Those are my two assets I love, the business.
Yep. And I think smart guys do both, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of building those businesses is owning the real estate that it's in, mm-hmm. And making those plays. So I think together it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So what's next for you building in Montana? Are you looking to expand to more? So you're in, what's the name of that city? Helena?
We're in Helena. Yep.
Helena.
We're in Helena. We're looking at Bozeman right now. It's one of the hottest markets in the country. The price point's way higher, but that's our next play. And then, I'd love to get into different states. There's a solid chance that Burns and I talk and get something rolling in Utah, or, it's a scalable business. I'm actually working with my assistant Angie right now. We're putting processes together to where we can scale it to different states and teach the method that I have. Because it's not brain surgery. It's all in my head, and I got to put it on paper so I can teach somebody else how to do it.
So what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge moving to a different state? Is it going to be, I would think, the labor pool? finding those quality subs.
Absolutely. And we're so lucky here. Like I said earlier, that I grew up with a lot of these guys. But again, we have it scheduled to where we pay twice a month, where other builders pay once a month, maybe, and it's always late. And they're all, you hear vendors upset about not being paid on time. That's one of our big things is we pay prompt. And because a lot of these guys are just starting out, like the sheetrockers and stuff. There's not a huge profit margin in those businesses. They can't wait 2 months to get paid. So we are very fortunate to have the labor pool that we have here. But that I agree with you, Chris, 100%. Finding the labor is going to will be the hardest, and I think that's connecting with the guy that has the connections all around in that city that we moved to.
Yeah. What does your financing look like for these new builds? Are you getting 100% of the construction money as a line of credit? Can you explain kind of what that looks like?
Yep, absolutely. So with the local banks that I'm using, so normally what they do is they'll require 20% down, whether it's the equity in the lot or your the money that you have in the project. So in a lot of times, so the developer that I work with, they'll do a lot of subordinations. So they'll subordinate the lot, you build the house, you get the financing, and then you pay them at the end. Mm-hmm. It helps them and it helps the builder. So that situation is nice as well. So then the bank basically gives you a loan, and then you have an Excel spreadsheet and you have budget line items, and every build needs to go into a budget, and then we balance that at the end of the month. So it's the loan is in place, but you don't pay interest on the money until you've taken it out. So like that first month, it's $14 interest payment, but at the end of the project, you're looking at $3,500. Right. So that's getting the project done in a timely manner is super, super important.
So do you find that the lot developer he puts that up, and that's the pretty typical way for y'all to go about the loan process?
In our area, it is, but I've heard in other areas, like if you go to bigger places like Phoenix or something like that, the developers will buy the land and then be the builder, the mortgage broker, kind of the same model and so then they're not selling land. So that's the trick in some of those other markets.
Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got some land play I've been looking at, considering about doing something, some entry point level homes, and then if that was not an exit strategy, then flip them as a rental for Plan B.
What area of the country?
It'd be North Mississippi.
Okay, great.
So
yeah, to me, that's always the in development. Then so that's kind of my next step is to be the land developer and the builder at the same time. That's just such a big money play to where you'll need multiple investors and stuff like that. And in developing, all the money is on the back end. You put up all the money up front, you're paying the big payments, and then all the payoff comes in the end. So that if you want to send that to me, I'd be happy to take a look at it and kind of help you out with that.
Yeah. Definitely. I'll circle back around. I've got a few more conversations. I'm still looking at negotiations on purchase, but I've asked a few people locally kind of what it looks like. One guy said he kind of sees it as a per road, the street in the neighborhood. It's so much per linear foot of street is kind of how he was calculating it for all the infrastructure, utilities.
Yeah,
that kind of what your understanding is so far.
Yes.
Yeah. What is it running in Montana? Do you know?
Actually, I don't know that number. I haven't done a development yet, but I could sure kind of ask around.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, trying to figure out where I even needed to be on land purchase to consider something like that. But yeah. I had another guy, Chris Rude. He's got a guy that he's hooked up with. He does a few plays with him, and down in Louisiana, and he's done. That was pretty much. He said, "Look, it's big money up front. You got to kind of, you need some investors, but on the back end, it's massive rips." Yeah. And but he sells to the national builders, not your local builders. So he'll get a contract as soon as he's got his plat approved. And then he starts doing all the development. And once it's done, those contracts are already sitting there waiting to build and erect the building on top.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think Jeremy Butler's into some stuff like that too. You might want to chat with him.
okay. Yeah, I didn't realize he had gotten into the development like that, but yeah, I know Jeremy.
We were chatting a little bit about it. I think he's working on one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Levi, when you did your first spec house, how did it go, the first one?
It was a big learning curve, you know. Yeah, it's mostly the financing part, you know, learning to get that all done, and then you know, at that point I didn't have the reputation yet, so getting the subs there and all of that kind of stuff, you know, getting new subs and that kind of stuff. So still turned a profit on it. Not as big as I had anticipated, but it was still a good experience and still turned a profit. And you know, then what's fun is then the bank's like, okay, now you can do 2, and now, you know, then you can do 6, and you know, now it's to where the banks will give you, you know, whatever you need. And now we're
how long have you been doing it?
This is year 11 since I've owned this company. Yeah.
Yeah, people don't want to do that first start, but that's the thing. You got to do one successful. You got to prove to banks, prove to subs, prove to everybody, prove to yourself.
Everybody. It's funny, like local builders, you know, people I've known forever, you hear, you know, chirping, you know, he's never framed a house. Why does he think he can be a builder? You know, that kind of thing. And now, you know, now they're begging us for work.
It's just people, a lot of times people think like everybody should believe in them from day one. Like you gotta get some wins under your belt.
Absolutely not. And that's kind of the fun part. I think
I don't get it.
If I don't have a chip on my shoulder, there's something wrong. Like,
yeah. Somebody asked me that maybe a few months ago on a call. Hey, well, now it's easy for you. People know that you can build a business. And I was thinking when I started, like, nobody, not one person,
no.
But, you know, I was like 17 years old. I was, you know, taking my mom's car at 2 a.m. and driving 120 miles an hour on the highway. So like I was doing that like a month before I started my business. Why would anyone believe,
right?
You know, you're an idiot.
Absolutely.
So why would they expect it? And then of course it's not that easy. It doesn't go as well as you think.
Right. Well,
you got to build those things.
When I started, we were still coming out of the recession. You know, we were just, you know, that time period where, oh, you shouldn't even be building a spec house and you've never done it before. What are you thinking about? So, I mean, that kind of doubt should just add fuel, right? And I think a lot of people let it cripple them, and it absolutely should not. You have to have a little fire in your belly to get you up in the morning sometimes. So that's what drives me. And sometimes I have to manufacture it, right? Like when you get to, you know, I'm sure you do it too, guys, now that you got a little bit of success, sometimes you got to manufacture the enemy.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of what drives you. I'm not driven by positive reinforcement. That's for sure.
I mean, you got to start one. I had a friend, he was building houses in the late 90s in New Jersey. And he started with like, you know, like the areas that weren't so great and everything. That's what he could do. And I remember he was like figuring it out and he was always stressed out. And then I went and saw a couple of his houses. And then he said, oh, I'm building this house here. And it was like a really nice town. And he was building about a $3 million house. And I was thinking like, wow, in like 4 years, he went from, you know, building like really small things to like, this is $3 million in the 90s. This is like a $6-7 million house now.
Right.
He did that in like 4 years.
Yeah.
Basically because he had all these wins and like his confidence when I went to that site and all the subs, he was like a totally different person, but I knew him kind of like as a young kid.
Right.
And all of a sudden he was like this thing. That's the progression, how quickly it can happen.
Right. It sounds like you say it out loud. Like I started this company 11 years ago. I've been in real estate 25 years, but 11 years isn't that long to build a company. I mean, it just doesn't, it feels long, like when you say it, but it goes in a flash. And like you said, like your friend just had to have a couple small wins and stack those small wins on top of each other. And then the confidence comes and everybody sees it and the subs see it, the banks see it. And then you're just off to the races.
It's just some people got that was, for lack of a better term, that dog in him. Like that person, when we played sports growing up, he was that guy who, like, he wasn't that athletic, but like he gave it his all the time. It transfers into business. So just anybody who's thinking of doing these things, you gotta be okay taking that first step and getting into it. If you want to buy a business and you feel like you don't have the money, well, then go work sales for somebody like Chris or I.
Right.
Do that for a year, dominate that, then go on and do something else, and so on. When look what you did coming out with, that was harder back then. No high school education. You're working with this 800 unit apartment complex, and they see all these things. They watch you, and you can move up really quick. They're going to give you new positions.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of it is confidence. And you don't have to know everything. And I've always been really good at this, I think, is even now I'll go to a job site and I'll see a plumber or an HVAC guy and they're working on something and I'll not know exactly what's going on. And I'll ask the guy, no matter his age, if he's younger than me, older than me, and be like, hey, explain to me what's happening here. I don't know that. Like, teach me. Like it's okay to know that, to say that you don't know something.
Yeah.
Your ego doesn't have to be so big that that you make the mistakes. So like, don't make the mistakes. Ask the person that knows. Like when I go to buy a business, and I'll call you guys and be like, hey, walk me through this because I've never done it before. Your ego can get you in a lot of trouble sometimes when you don't know, but you act like you know.
I agree.
I totally agree with that. Big mistake people make. And people who are good at stuff, they love to tell you how it works. People like to teach when they're good at stuff. That's how I got into roofing. And I've still never laid a shingle. But I just started I brought in an expert roofer, and I used to say, tell me how this works. Tell me from step. And I was doing that all the time. And next thing you know, I understood the whole process, ordering materials, everything very quickly.
And now it's so much easier than when we started because you have the internet. Like
I know.
I tell when I train people on sales, like I had to go to the yellow pages. We didn't have Facebook, and like
Yeah, people would think, well, why don't you just go to YouTube, Kevin? Yeah, there was no YouTube when I did that.
No YouTube. Right.
I had to go up on the roof and just sit there, and I'd say, just show me what you're doing. And I'd ask a million questions. Now you can get all that information.
Right. But you still have to implement it. And that's the key. And I think that's a big problem too, is people have information overload too, because you have so much information, they don't do anything with it.
Levi, do you see you and Mike Burns doing masterminds and stuff?
I do.
I see it. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And when you say that people like to teach, like that's what I'm super excited about is sharing some knowledge in helping people get, I just invested with a kid and he's in Phoenix starting a marketing company. Just talking business with him is fun, right? Like just kind of sharing some of those mistakes that I made early on that he doesn't have to make is fun.
It is.
So I think we'll start small, maybe like a 5-10 person meetup sort of thing, and round table. And
I'm sure you know some spots in Montana up there that would be incredible.
Absolutely.
People would be wowed by. They don't even know how beautiful it is up there.
And we were talking about that between, the Salt Lake area and the Montana area. People will, it's a destination spot that people will want to come to.
Well, I'm going to see you out in Salt Lake this weekend. It's my first time out there.
No, Salt Lake's great. Salt Lake is a beautiful, beautiful place. So I'm excited for that event. That'll be fun.
Chris, you know that we're going out to Burns got tickets to UFC. We're going out. Levi's, we're going to do the podcast.
Yeah.
I knew you were headed up there, and I was going to tell you, hey, scope us some spots out for the next mastermind.
Oh, yeah. Park City would be an epic spot.
Oh, I'm going to check it out. Yeah, we got a videographer following us on Friday, too.
Yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, I get in early, so it should be a good time. That should be a lot of fun. What are you guys seeing with the business buying? Are you seeing a lot of people with the economy down a little bit, or more people selling, or people hunkering down?
No, you've got the baby boomers that are leaving. So that's the biggest movement that's happening in the selling off of these businesses. But a lot of them a lot of them doesn't even understand that there's a market to sell it. Like they think, okay, my kids didn't want it, so go sell the assets and shut down. And they were good savers along the years, so they've built a little nest egg and put it back in the stocks, and so that's what they're looking at. I mean, I've got a couple of opportunities right now currently going, but one of them came from a guy that sells Medicare, and he was talking to them when they were signing up for Medicare, and he mentioned my name and said, "Hey, this guy buys businesses. You should give him a phone call." And then I found out that I knew the CPA, and I sent the CPA a message that I was looking for certain criteria probably about 3 months ago, but I didn't get a call from the CPA. I got a call from the Medicare guy that just knew about my social media post and knew I was interested in that space. So now I'm talking to the CPA, and we're discussing opportunities of how we can put this deal together. So I mean, they're out there. You got to open your mouth and let people know what you're looking for. Otherwise, they will never think about you. So
absolutely. Well, it's funny that
opportunity.
It's funny that you say that, because when I started my company, I never in a million years would have thought I would ever sell it, or would have an asset worth selling. Mm-hmm. I just thought that there's no way I could go to work for somebody.
Right.
Yeah. I think to your question is, I think there's more opportunity now than there was a year ago because of interest rates. So when, of course, the interest rates go up, the price of these businesses go down because they can't afford as much. If this is what I mean, we're doing. We're looking at a deal right now here in Georgia, windshield deal. Mm-hmm. Basically, we're going to buy it for 2 times the net income, so a 2x multiple. But here's the thing about it: half of it's real estate. It's like, it's so safe. And the woman's 72 years old. She has money. That these guys brought it to us. They were trying to get an SBA. There was some issues with that. And could they personally guarantee it and all this stuff? So then Chris and I were like, we'll just give you cash and we'll come in with you. And then when the woman heard that, she was like, well, if the SBA is not involved, and basically if she's not behind them, she would do seller financing, because she wants the tax benefits. She wants a stream of income. So now she might finance almost half of it.
Oh, that's great.
This is all happening. People don't, these deals are out there. If you put a team together, if you don't have money, but you have people with money, you find deals. You could buy these things at incredible deals right now.
Yeah.
I mean, life-changing. All you need is one deal. We all know that. We could think of one business. Well, we all have a main business. That one business, we live a really nice life off of. And then we're just accumulating more. So, I mean, I think it's a massive opportunity. I don't see it going anywhere, because I think that 90% of people who are looking to buy businesses are never going to buy one. Chris, you like, when I look in those like Facebook groups, business bar, I read the comments. I'm like, yeah, he ain't buying a business.
It's scary as hell to think about buying a business when you really get down to it, because there's so many moving parts in it. And then the second question is, well, how am I going to buy this thing? And because most of these people that want to buy them don't have money just sitting in the bank. No. So there's a lot of questions to be asked, but I think it goes back to what you said, Levi. I mean, confidence goes a really long way. So if you can push back the fear of failure, and you can move forward and ask the questions and start walking the process, and then reach out to other people that you know are doing that, it's going to help increase your confidence, but it's also going to give you the direction of the answers that you have, the answers to the questions that you have. And most people never get the confidence to start walking the process. It's great to look through the storefront window, but walking in the door and actually trying it on, I mean, that's where most people stop at.
Well, in an economy like we're in right now, guys like us are the ones that build wealth, because everybody else is pulling back the reins. Oh, we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see. I just heard Ed Milet say it. Like, you don't make up ground on your competition or the people that you're trying to catch in the good economies.
Right.
When everything is good, they're doing good too. You got to make up ground in the bad economies, and you have to be smart and make the right moves, and take advantage of those opportunities that pop up when you get them.
That's it. We run over fear is what it is. That's the separator between those that do extremely successful and those that don't. We run past our own fears. I
It
believe
drives my wife crazy, but I always say I grew up poor. I could go back there real quick. Like
Yeah, I don't
it's not that hard. I do better eating ramen than I do steaks sometimes, but I don't think my wife would love me for that.
Yeah, I agree. Not that I'm planning on getting poor anytime soon, but that doesn't scare me.
Right.
I feel like if you stuck me up in North Montana with no money, I'll figure it out really quick.
Oh yeah. You're gonna
Very
have to spend
quickly.
some time up here. We need your guys' next mastermind up here.
Yeah,
we may very well do it.
let's do it when you guys have one. We'll come up and we'd love to come up there and talk.
Yeah,
Burns came to ours and killed it.
Yeah, and I think that we kind of chatted last time. It would be a great cross promotional thing. We could do some stuff together. And
It's got synergy as well. So I would love to do one. Imagine having some massive place out there on a lake or something up in Montana.
Absolutely, Flathead. Google Flathead Lake.
Flathead Lake. Huh?
You'll fall in love with it. It's insane.
Yeah, Chris and I we were just at a lake here in Georgia, and we spent like 4 days together with our families. And I don't know if Chris, I spent a lot of time thinking about lake homes since then.
Yeah, I saw how good the kids enjoyed it, and it was just peaceful, and we were enjoying personal time, working some. It was just a mixture of business and personal life. It was really cool. It was cool to see. It was good. It's just good stuff, man.
Yeah, there's just something about the peaceful, quiet.
It is.
And I'm not good with quiet time, but nowadays it's good.
Peaceful, quiet. We had to go out and get gas and fill up the jet skis and the boats one morning. We went out. We were the only people on the.
It was nice.
It was my stepson, Chris, and I. We all had our own. I had the boat. They had the jet skis. I was loving that. I was like, man, this is nice. I could do this every morning.
Oh yeah.
And I was answering. I was texting my VAs in the Philippines while I was driving the boat.
You're doing a great job.
That's awesome.
Just wait, Kevin. I grew up a Braves fan, so when the World Series comes there, I'll be coming down your way.
Oh, definitely.
Nice. Levi, how does people get a hold of you?
I'm on Instagram at Levi_Wanner, WANNER, and just my name on Facebook or Infinity Homes. So
awesome, man. Dude, we appreciate you coming on today and sharing about your journey and some particulars about how you get your financing and structure your building business, and looking forward to your mastermind. Let us know when y'all get that up and running, and we'll make sure that we share on Blue Collar.
We sure will. I appreciate you guys having me on. If I can ever do anything for either one of you, please let me know.
All right. I'll see you on Friday.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right. Talk to you soon.